We have a pretty big family out here. This is Puppy. Over here is Goya. And then we have 3 cats, Uli, Bunny, and Carol, and 2 horses, Dunny and Tandy. Hi, I'm Bob Butler.
And I'm Melody here.
We live here on a beautiful 60-acre property in Fairview, Tennessee. We're about 40 minutes west of Nashville. When we found the property, I think we saw a Zillow listing and just fell in love with it. It was very unkept, wild, but we could see a lot of potential.
But there was something really magical about wandering through the woods and finding the creek. And
we found that spot, put a big rock there, and that's where we built the cabin.
Yeah.
So that was the first project. The initial vision for the property was getting back to kind of the roots of the way I grew up in the bush in Australia, where we had like tons of acreage and cows and horses and all that kind of thing. And so there was already that kind of design sensibility and focus on wellness and nature, shifting more to creative events and artist workshops. Also, some of the smaller structures that we built around the property, like the cabin and the treehouse, have been little ways to experiment with architectural ideas on a small scale that's way more feasible than like building an entire house. So it just organically unfolded as a sketch pad, but a real life playground sketch pad. The initial plan wasn't to actually build Adelaide, but the more we were out here, the more we started dreaming of like how cool would it be to have a house out here. And so we built this house. Up here where there's just a lot more sun, there's a lot more openness, more of a South American Mexican style that I was really inspired by, kind of blending that with some mid-century elements, and also designing something that was very compartmentalized. You have a lot of different spaces connected by glass breezeways, kind of like Swiss Family Robertson, but not in the trees. The vanity that we have is a Danish vanity from like I think the 1950s or 60s by G-Plan, but the top of it just floats. And I wanted it to feel like this house was very linear, low to the ground, low to the landscape, but the roof was kind of floating on top. Being the builder and the designer is definitely a privilege because you can make decisions on the fly. Sometimes in the same hour I'm designing and changing some of those elements. And I think a lot of what we've designed and built on the property is informed by the space, like making little things that seem to complement what's already here, rather than tearing a whole bunch of trees down. And everything up to this point has just organically developed because there's something so nurturing about the nature out here in the valley in a way that it really inspires people to feel creative. And so it just seems natural to implement like symposiums and workshops. But it's one of those things that will organically unfold. Like everything on this property has, I don't know if it'll ever be finished.
Yeah, it'll never be finished.
But that's what's great about it.